Hey guys, welcome back to the 4-1 Week. Today we're going to talk about how to secure your internet or your network at your house or maybe a small business. I wouldn't suggest doing this with a large business, especially if you have an IT technician or a department, because this is something they would do and you might want to do it a different way at a larger scale. But this may work for a very small business and especially something great to do at your house. So if you notice, we're at opendns.com. And this is a free service that, again, anybody can do. All you have to do is sign up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on sign in, and it's going to ask us for our information, and we're actually going to go sign up for this program or this software that we're going to implement into our router. And before we start, last week, make sure you watch the video from last week, because we're going to have to get into our router, and if you can't access your router settings, you're not going to be able to implement this properly. So we don't have an account, so we're going to get started, and we're going to do a Open DNS Home, and that there's 3 different versions. The Family Shield might be something you might want to look into. For this purpose, for this portion, we're just going to use the Open DNS Home. And again, if it's something you like or if you implement and you want to do the paid subscription, it's $20 per year. So we're going to click on sign up. I'm going to enter my email settings. Excuse me one second, let me move this. And I'm going to enter my 4-1 Week email. And we'll fast forward. Alright, so we're going to change DNS, OpenDNS on our router. We could do it per computer, but we want to do it for a router. And if you do not have a router, you might want to do it for the computer. And if that becomes something that a lot of you are actually trying to do, I can make another video showing you how to do it on your computer. But assuming everybody that's watching has either a wired router or a wireless router, we're going to do it on our router settings. And this is very easy how they tell you how to do it. I have a Linksys. Which one is it? This brand. So we're going to go into our router settings, which I already have mine up. I'm already logged into my router settings, and again, if you don't know how to do that, watch the video from last week. I go in that pretty in depth. And what we're going to do is we're going to change our DNS settings to these numbers here and these numbers here. So it's just some specific DNS numbers. And actually, real quick, give me 1 second. Alright, so if you noticed, what I did is I opened up 2 different windows, so I can have my router on this window and the OpenDNS window on this side. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come right here to my static DNS, and I'm going to change the numbers just like they're showing me over here for the static DNS. So I'm going to type those numbers in, be 208, 67, 222, 222, 208, 67, 220, 220, and then 208, 67, 220, 222, 208, 67, 222, 220. And then when I finish over here, I'm going to hit save, and it may kick me out of the router and make me log back in, and that's perfectly okay. So once we finish this, we're going to continue, and I'm going to test my new settings. So if you notice, when I saved over here on the router side, it automatically showed me that those numbers were there. So I'm going to go back to this screen, and we're going to open our DNS dashboard, and this is where we can implement. I'm going to add this particular network. It should automatically populate, so make sure you don't configure this at a coffee shop or at your place of work if you're trying to implement this at your house. So we're going to add our network, and this is the IP address. So I'm just going to say home, or actually, so I don't get confused, I'll do the 4-1 Week. And if you don't know if it's a dynamic IP address, just leave it as yes, it's dynamic. A little bit more in depth what we'll talk about later. So we're going to add our network. When we added our network, we can click on it, and when we get to click on it, we can choose what is filtered throughout our home network. So I like to do custom, and when I click on custom and scroll down, I can choose what I would like for it to be blocked. So if you don't necessarily know what you might want to be blocked, you could always start off by choosing high and then click custom, and it'll click on high and click customize, and it'll tell you what it's already blocked off for the high. Now a lot of this is a lot more than I may want to do, so I'm going to go back to the custom. It choose custom automatically, but it pre-populated with those high filtering settings. So I can come through here and let's say I wanted to block academic fraud. I may not want to block chat or file storage, but I want to make sure gambling's blocked, lingerie, bikini, coming down, religious, sexuality, sports. I might want to block web spam. That's a very big one. I would suggest video sharing. I don't want to block. Otherwise, you couldn't see this. I'll block some stuff over here. I don't want to block classifieds. And again, yours is going to look totally different than mine because this is specific to your network. So I may not want to block games or instant messaging. Just keep going down. We don't want that blocked. So you can see how you could implement this for your house. And if there's some stuff in here you may not want your family members to see, kids of yours if you're a little bit older. If you're younger, please make sure your parents know what you're doing to be safe on the internet for them and for you. So that looks good. We'll leave everything else blocked. One thing I want to point out is the dating, and I have the dating unblocked right now. So I'm just going to type match.com. And when I go to match.com, right now Match is unblocked. So I'm going to make sure dating stays blocked, and I'll show you in a second how this actually works. So we're going to apply, and it'll save those settings. And down here at the bottom, we can enter something that's always blocked or always unblocked. So for instance, if I always wanted to block, let's say, I don't want to do match.com because we just used that. Let's do the other one. What's the other one? eHarmony is the other one. Sorry, I had forgot about it. So I'm going to say I want to block eHarmony.com always. So always block eHarmony.com. And you're already blocking. Okay, so yes, let's always add it just to be safe. And we can always never block something else. So let's say never block YouTube.com. We don't want to block YouTube. So let's leave YouTube unblocked. And we applied these changes, and it said I have to go back and confirm my email account, but everything should still work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go check my email real quick and pick back up, and we'll make sure Match is blocked. Alright, so I checked my email and I clicked the link to automatically secure my site and update it and make sure I'm where I need to be. So when I clicked that link, it brought me back to this page. Notice that the little tag right here went away that said you need to verify your settings in your email. So now I know I'm good. And just to double check, we'll go back to a browser and we'll open up that same website. We'll go to match.com. And if you notice, it says, sorry, but match.com is blocked on this network. And it has some links somewhere like a search engine would normally and some ads, but that's because this is a free software or a free program that we can implement on our network. So anytime you have something free, you're going to have ads. So be careful not to click too many of these ads. And notice it even tells us what that site was blocked for. So it's in dating and social networking. So either one of those sites, or excuse me, either one of those groups would block match.com. And we already blocked eHarmony, so when we go there we can see that it may still pull up the site, but that's just because it was cached in our browser. When I come up here and I hit refresh, it says it's blocked. So if I would have tried to click something, it would have been blocked anyway. And this is blocked on the network, and it doesn't tell us where because it says contact your network administrator because we blocked it for certain no matter what it was listed under. So if we go back here, there's some other things that are pretty neat. We can go under security and we can see that there's 3 options it'll give us. Malware bot and botnet protection. So we always want to make sure that's on. We always want to make sure the phishing protection is on. That's when people send us an email pretending to be somebody they're not. That's called phishing, and that cannot be safe. And then suspicious responses from internal IP addresses. That's personal. I'm not going to leave it blocked just because it doesn't really matter. But what's really neat is under customization, we can upload a logo. So I'm going to browse to my desktop and I'm going to choose my 41 Wheat logo. So now when someone goes to a blocked website on our network, it's going to show my logo for the 41 Wheat. So we'll give it a second to upload to this specific website. We can add a contact form so they can contact the administrator and it'll go to whatever email we use to log in. We can have a guided page or a blocked page. So if something's blocked, I can even add a message and say site blocked, this is not allowed on this network. Please contact the 41 Wheat at the 41 Wheat at gmail.com or something like that. We could also do it for a phishing block page and things. And once we apply, we'll see what comes up. So let's close these two and open up a new one, and we'll try to go back to match.com. Oh, not match.com, and it's going to say it's blocked, and we'll refresh just because it's still trying to access everything we've updated, and it's not there, so we'll give it a minute. And I need to go back here, and up at the top, notice I already saved down here, so this was saved. When we go back to the top, we need to edit our image. So let's go click here to edit. When it pulls up this little screen, we'll move this little box right here, and we'll say, oops, and it wants to be pretty wide, so we'll have to center it. Let me get it a little bit larger. And we'll say that looks good right there. Let's save changes. And then let's go back and refresh that blocked page. Alright, so I had to stop the tape because it takes 3 minutes for something to go into effect. But once we refresh the page, we can see that it's added my personal message we created right here, as well as our logo. There's a few other things I do want to show you though, because this just says, this is something we could say to our kids or anybody in our house that's on our network. Hey, we don't want to go to that site. If you have an issue, you need it unblocked, that's fine. We just need to know why, or something like that. But back under the settings, if we click under stats and logs, if you enable stats and logs right here, you can actually track what's going on. And this isn't to be Big Brother. This is just to keep everybody safe and on the same page. But if we enabled stats and logs and apply the changes, we can go back to stats in this little tab, and we could click on, let's say, domains. And this would show us, we could choose a certain range of dates for whichever network, because if we have more than one network, and then I could say apply, and then it'll show me all of those domains that's been searched for or been typed in. For instance, I don't have anything because I just set this up, so if I worked with it for a week or two, then you could actually see what I've been going to and things like that. So pretty much it for OpenDNS. Very powerful, free, awesome tool to have to implement into your network at your house. And this is where you really want to make sure you set everything. Make sure certain things are blocked, certain things aren't blocked. This does two things. This keeps you safe, as well as your computer from getting viruses or things like that, because you might accidentally go to a website that has a virus or malware or something created inside that site, and if you block like web spam and even using the domain names like the DNS codes that we had to type in over here, just using these servers actually help stop all of that malware and things from coming into your computer for sites you might go to. I really don't have any examples to show you because I don't try to Google malware and antivirus, things like that, or viruses. But this is actually known to help stop those types of websites that could be harmful to your computer, as well as keep you safe on the web. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks for watching.